Good evening. I know it's kind of late, but I have a prophetic word, and I know this has been a long time since the last video I've done, and so I just wanted to let y'all know I haven't, stepped away. I'm just getting myself straight with everything that I had going on um, in that time, and so now I'm back, and I'm going to be continuing to share whatever the Lord shows me, reveals to me, um, or puts on my heart to share on here. And so I have I have a vision that I had, and it's a prophetic word, and it's one of faith and of redemption. And I had this today, but early in the morning at 12:17 a.m. And this was a vision of a lion sitting up, chilling, like when a lion is chilling in the grassland area. But in this vision, the lion was sitting up, chilling, swinging back and forth on a swing. And so what the Lord calls me to understand is that some of us, we know that we've been redeemed, and it's some things that we are expecting and waiting on. And, you know, some of these things have not taken off how we have expected them to take off at first. So it's causing some of us to lack faith, um, and to kind of just, waver. That's what the waver in faith, that's what the swing in this vision was symbolic of, the swinging back and forth, a wavering that's kind of happening because some people have not seen certain things happen yet, or either it's just going at a slow pace, and so it's kind of causing people to lack faith. And the Lord doesn't want you to lack faith, and He wants you to know that He has redeemed you from whatever you know you have experienced. This word is pretty much for people who have been through things where the Lord has set them down and pretty much dealt with them, and they've been through some things, and He's not gonna take you back through those same things. I know when things seem like they're taking off slow, that it can kind of feel like you're gonna be back in that place, but He's not going to allow that to happen. You've been redeemed, and you just have to hold on and be strong and keep your faith and be patient, basically. And so I have some scriptures that I'm going to read that the Lord led me to as I was sitting before Him, um, asking about this vision. So the first place is Isaiah 54, and this is about the future glory of Zion. But as it pertains to this message, this word, it has to do with what's going on right now. Um, is the reason why I'm reading from this scripture, because it has to do with being redeemed, and faith, as well as the other scriptures that I'm going to read with it. So it says, "Sing, O barren, thou that didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, thou that didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. For thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more." So I'm gonna, kind of cut in as I read certain verses, but He led me to this because it's some of us that, when things are not moving at the pace that you're expecting it to, you can kind of you can kind of um, Sorry, y'all. You can kind of feel like you're being forsaken, and you're not being forsaken, but it's easy to think like that once you've been through a waiting period, or like a wilderness, or just a pruning season. It's easy to think like that. And so it says, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore. So verse 5 says, for thy maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name. Your maker is the Most High God. It says, for thy maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The God of the whole earth shall he be called. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou was refused, saith thy God. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. And so right here, basically what the Lord was ministering to me as I was reading this, as pertaining to this word, because I know this has to do with future glory of Zion. Um, so whatever you went through, the Lord is not going to take you through that again. Um, it can feel like that because we as humans naturally want things to take off, and happen when we want them to. But sometimes it doesn't happen like that. And some things happen little by little. And so coming out of being, pruned in a waiting season or a wilderness season, and you haven't fully gotten everything that you're expecting to happen, um, you could feel like you've been forsaken. But God is a God of his word. He's not going to go back on anything that he's promised you. He's going to do it for you. And it says, for this is as the waters of Noah unto me. Sort of saying like the same way how he promised that he wouldn't flood the whole earth again. Um, basically like saying, I'm not going to take you back through this again, is what he's saying right here in this verse. And with this message, he's saying the same thing, to where whatever you've gone through, you know, that's kind of causing you to lack faith because of what you're not seeing yet. He's not going to take you back through that. You've been through it. You learned what you needed to learn, the lessons from it. He's prepared you for whatever, trained you for whatever he has coming. He's not going to take you back through those things. And so you have to trust in him and just wait, continue to wait. It's sort of like, it's just he's stretching us or something. But I'm going to continue reading. It says, verse 10, well, I'm going to finish verse 9. It says, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountain shall depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee. Neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee. It says, I'm going to read it again. For the mountain shall depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee. See, a lot of times people will teach in a way to where you don't think that the Lord has compassion on us or kindness towards us after dealing with us, but he does. It says, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed. The Lord has mercy on us after a while. It says, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee. 11, O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. Do y'all see what's happening here? It says, "O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest and not comforted. Behold," this is God promising what he's going to do. And it's the same way with us. After we've suffered for a while, we might suffer for a while, but then the Lord will give us our beauty for our ashes after that. It says, "O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires." This is like adorning someone with different jewels or something. And it says, "And I will make thy windows of agate, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stones." It says, "And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shall thou be established." I want to pause right there, because as you're still expecting, waiting, um, he's establishing us. A building up has to take place after you've been, stripped of things. It doesn't all happen at once, but you're being established in righteousness. It says, "Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear from terror, for it shall not come near thee." Thou shalt be far from oppression. It's just like a reminder. For thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. And like as I was reading this, it was just basically a reminder that everything may not happen all at once, but keep your faith, because it's going to happen. Whatever God said, that's going to happen. It has to happen. There's no other way, because God is a promise keeper. So it just requires patience and not overthinking, you know, getting nervous, worrying, becoming anxious because we don't see it, physically yet, to where you're thinking the same thing that you've already had to endure would end up happening again. And so it says, "For it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake." And as I was reading this came to mind as well. Some things are sometimes delayed because the enemy will use certain people to try to cause delays when they see that the Lord is trying to bless you. And so when people come together to conspire against you, and it's not for a good reason, a good cause, or God's not involved in it, it says, "Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake." So when people want to become a stumbling block for you, or try to dig a pit for you to fall in, because they don't want to see what the Lord is getting ready to do for you, or they see what he's doing and they're trying to put a stop to it some kind of a way, see how they can, get in the way of that, the Lord will deal with those people. Verse 16 says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord." And so that's the first place. And y'all got to forgive me for rocking, because when I get in the word, it's just like this happens all the time. I start reading the word, and I just start flowing with whatever the Lord is, putting on my heart to say. It's just like a piece, and I start rocking, but I can't help it. I don't, do it on purpose, but it's just something that naturally happens when I'm, you know, talking about God and reading the word and doing these videos. So I just have to put that out there. But the next um, place I want to go to is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. And like I said, this is a word, a prophetic word to encourage your faith, and to let you know that the Lord is redeeming those that have been through these things that I've mentioned. Those waiting periods, those pruning seasons, those wilderness seasons, where he's taken you, stripped you, dealt with you, prepared you, into who he's calling you to be. It's to strengthen your faith, and it's to let you know, remind you that he has redeemed you. You have been redeemed from the hands of the enemy. And so Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 23 says, verse 23 says, well, I'm going to start at 22. Let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. And so God promised, because I know, speaking personally for me, there's things that the Lord promised me in my wilderness season. I'm no longer in a wilderness season, but during that time when I was going through everything I was going through, the Lord gave me visions. He gave me certain dreams, and more than once. And some of these things were promises from God. And so this is saying, hold fast the profession of your faith without wavering. That's why in that vision I saw the lion, and he was swinging. He was sitting up chilling, but he was swinging back and forth because it's a wavering that's going on amongst believers who know, that God is going to do what he said he's going to do for you, but just sometimes you become weary, or you become weak from not seeing certain things happen right away, and you begin to waver. And so this is just to let you know to hold fast the profession of your faith and don't waver. And then the next place is James chapter 1, and I'm going to read verses 6 through 7. James chapter 1, verses 6 through 7. It says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. So we know that according to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, that without faith that it's impossible to please the Lord. So if we expect for anything to happen that we know the Lord promised us, we have to believe it. And we have to really, truly believe it in our hearts. And not just, confess it with our mouths, but truly believe it in our hearts, no matter what the situation looks like, no matter if you're not seeing anything yet. You've seen it in spiritual, but you may not see it in the physical just yet. But that just means it's still coming. And so it says, let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. When you feel like you're lacking faith, ask God to help your unbelief. Go to him in prayer. It says, ask in faith, nothing wavering, for the things that you are needing, or that that you're gonna, that he already promised you, but you're just having trouble with trusting that you're going to receive it. Go back to him in prayer and ask in faith. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. And it says, a double-minded man is unstable in all your ways. So you want to be stable in your thinking, not double-minded. You want to be stable. You want to have a sound mind. You want to be focused on what it is that the Lord said and that you believe, and not worry. And when you feel those ways, what you do is like I said, you pray. You go begin to worship. Worship will take away your worries, your anxieties, anxiousness, all of that. It will get you back to a place where you're grounded in your faith, and you're trusting and believing that God is going to do just what he said that he would do. And so the next place is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. I just basically said it, but I'm going to go there and read it. So verse 6 says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." So if it says, "For he that cometh to God must believe that he is," when you go to God, you have to believe that he's going to do it. And then you have to know that if you know that you've been seeking him, that he's going to reward you. If you've been diligently seeking the Lord, he's going to reward you. And it can't be no other way, because his word says it. And God is not a man that he should lie. So if that wasn't the case, that would not be in this word. And so I'm going to go to Psalm chapter 107 and read verses 1 through 2. It says, "Blessed is the," sorry, that's the wrong scripture. 107. It says, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he hath redeemed from the hand of the enemy." And I'm going to stop there and go to chapter 106 and read 8 through 11. It says, "Nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake." This is talking about when he brought them out of Egypt, Israel out of Egypt. So I'll start at 7. It says, "Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea." It says, "Nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake, that he might make his mighty power to be known. He rebuked the Red Sea also, and it was dried up. So he led them through the depths as through the wilderness." So when God redeems us, when he comes through for us after we've been through something, um, it's to show his power. Um, it's for his glory. It says that he might make his mighty power to be known. So that is why the Lord, do those things, why he redeemed us, because whatever testimony that we all have is going to allow other people to see it and then want to believe in him, to see by seeing his power just from whatever you've been through, that he came through and showed himself strong in. So it says, he rebuked the Red Sea also, and it was dried up. So he led them through the depths as through the wilderness. And he saved them from the hand of him that hated them, and redeemed them from the hand of the enemy. And so, like I said before, some things that you may not be seeing yet, sometimes it could be because of certain people that allow the enemy to use them to try to get in the way and cause delays. And so, even with all of that, you've been redeemed. You've been redeemed from, what God has, you know, had you go through. And when people decide they want to try to come in the way of what God is doing, you're redeemed from that as well. He will show himself strong, and he will deal with every person that call themselves trying to put their hand on you or your situation to try to cause, you know, delays. Um, so I'm gonna continue reading. It says, "And he saved them from the hand of him that hated them, and redeemed them from the hand of the enemy. And the waters covered their enemies; there was not one of them left." And so this word, this is the last place, but this word is about faith. Like I said before, about being redeemed, reminding you that you've already, you've been redeemed. But when it comes to people, enemies getting in the way, trying to cause delay, um, you know, the Lord remove those people out the way. But also when it comes to your faith, this whole prophetic word is to encourage your faith, to help strengthen your faith, and help you continue believing that God is going to do whatever he said he's going to do for you if you just wait for him and be patient. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. It's going to happen. God is going to come through. He's not going to forsake you again. He's not going to allow people to put their hand on what he's doing with you, or to come in and try to gather against you, because when the Lord is doing something for you, and when he's blessing you after you've been through some things, everybody is not going to be happy about that. You have some people that's happy for you, but then you have others that will try to gather and conspire against you. But you don't worry about those things. You keep looking straight ahead and pressing forward, and you let God deal with those people. And then you keep your faith, and continue to, diligently seek the Lord, and know that he's got you in the palm of his hands. And so that's all that I have to say for this prophetic word. I'll be back with some more, because the Lord has been dropping a bunch in my spirit, through vision, through dream. I just have not been coming on here. So yeah, I will be coming on here and doing what I'm supposed to do. So peace, and see y'all later. Bye.